USA. Welcome to Jamal Hasan Show. The voice is your voice. Today, I'm going to introduce poet Hassanal Abdullah. Hassanal Abdullah is the author of more than 60 books. Those include 21 collections of poetry. He is the editor of Shabda Guchha, an international bilingual poetry magazine. Mr. Abdullah received 5 international poetry awards, including Homer European Medal of Poetry and Art from Belgium in 2016, Clement Jemensky International Poetry Award from Poland in 2021, and Paul van Hayes Prize from Germany in 2024. Hassanal Abdullah's poetry has been translated into 18 languages and was published in various poetry anthologies all around the world. As an invited guest, Hassanal Abdullah attended international poetry festivals in China, Czech Republic, Guatemala, Morocco, Macedonia, Kenya, Poland, Greece, Mexico, Canada, and India. Mr. Abdullah is a retired high school math teacher in New York City. Welcome, Mr. Abdullah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Voice is my favorite channel.
Glad to know it. Okay, now I would like to start your young days, how you grew up, like after you are born. I assume you were born in Bangladesh. What part of Bangladesh you
I
were
was
growing
born
up?
in I was born in Gopalganj. Thank you. I was born in Gopalganj, the place where father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was born. And you know that my father was killed in 1971, the war between Bangladesh and Pakistan.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, no, thank you. Where 3 million Bangladeshi people were killed at that war, and 200 plus women were raped. So in that war, I lost my dad. I was only 3.5 years old. My mom helped us to educate. My uncles also, they did. So I grew up in a village of Bangladesh that was very interesting. And that memory with me is all the time when I write, when I go, from place to place. In fact, in Kenya a couple of years ago, I thought I found my village because they took us to the village, Kenyan village, and I saw the trees, the plants, the sugar cane, everything are similar. So I was so happy.
So you can you say the name of your village?
My name of my village is Gopinathpur. It's in Gopalganj district, but I grew up in Gunapara. That's my maternal uncle's village. So both of them in Gopalganj, about 5 miles apart from each other.
Your high schooling and your college you spent in that village, or you had to go to the city?
Yes, I went to the village school. It's about 3 miles from my uncle's house. We used to walk back and forth.
Long walk.
Long walk, 6 miles every day. That's why I still walk faster. Everybody say you walk faster. That's the starting. Then my college was Rajendra College in the city of Faridpur. And then I studied at Dhaka University. Later, in the 1990s, I was transferred to the City University of Newark, Hunter College. I finished my bachelor and master's from City University of
In
Newark.
the high school, what was your major? And also in
High
college?
Yeah, in the college, in a Bangladeshi college, there you don't have to decide any major. But when I was in the University of Dhaka, I was majoring in math, and which I continued here. So I became a math teacher, as you already said on my bio.
So math teacher is a not easy job actually. Even in America, you probably know you don't have an experience teaching in Bangladeshi schools, I suppose.
I do not, but I was a tutor. I was tutoring, house tutoring to many students in there in Dhaka University. That's how I was supporting myself and supporting my younger sister, who was in.
Oh, by the way, you said you studied in Dhaka University, so basically you had done your honors.
I did not
Graduation.
finish my honors degree from there, so I was transferred to the university, City University of New York.
Which subject it was, basically?
Math, again math.
Oh, so you are math. Now the $1 million question is: a math teacher, a math-oriented guy, how he could jump into the world of poetry, which is a very abstract thing. It, not very much non-mathematical. I mean, as a layman, I can say, but you can say, man, poetry has math also. Anyway, how you jumped into the world of poetry?
You know why I was smiling? Because I got this question over and over. And I could not do my PhD because of that, because my professor, Professor Jamboy, I still remember his name, he gave me a piece of paper, blank piece of paper, and said, write down, I'm not going to write poetry for the next 5 years if you have to do PhD in math. I said, why is that? I was so surprised. I said, why is that? He said, well, I have not seen a crazy poet like you who says there is no difference between math and poetry. I still believe in that. There is no difference between math and poetry. As you know, that I wrote a book. It's called The Rhythm of Poetry, which has been used in at least 20 universities of Bangladesh. It was published by the Bangla Academy, the national press, in 1997, and since then it has been a textbook. So I do not believe that there is a lot difference between math and poetry, since a lot of rhythm meters. Let's talk about sonnets, which I actually invented a new type of sonnets, which I would not be able to unless I was a math student, because my sonnet is 7/7 stanza. Usually, you know that sonnet 14-line poems, it's like 8 and 6. It's Italian and Petrarchan, and then Shakespearean or English sonnets. Then I broke it into 7/7. I said, let's make it 70. It came from math. And then I said A, B, C, D, A, B, C, E, F, G, D, E, F, G are the rhyming scheme. So the D's sound from the fourth line of the first stanza is connected with the fourth line of the second stanza, which is actually the two foci of ellipses. So, hey, there is so much of math that is involved in my poetry.
I understand, but again, you haven't answered to the question, because which prompted you to be in the poetry field? Like exactly which triggered? Like, should I say that in Bangladesh it happened in Dhaka University, or after coming to America, suddenly you became poetry lover? I mean, can you exactly approximately which timeline, like when you fell in love with poetry? Was it the formative years in Bangladesh or in America?
I started writing when I was in 7th grade. That was an accident, I would say. I came to poetry. I had a house tutor who was not.
But here's a picture. Can you explain this?
This is the president of Macedonia. I met her last year.
Oh,
and
great.
She was thrilled with my book that I gave it to her. This is the book I gave it to her. It's Contemporary Bangladeshi Poetry.
Oh.
And then she said that I wanted to go to Bangladesh after reading this book. And there was her daughter. She's not in the picture. She's a lawyer too. Both of them are lawyers. And she said, I have been also reading the book. I want to travel to your country.
Fantastic.
I said, wow, that's great.
So anyway, so at grade 7, suddenly you fell in love with poetry, and it was a Sukanto or Tagore or Rabindranath Tagore?
Well, it started like my house tutor. There was a storm came out, monsoon storm.
Yeah.
And he said, write a poem from nowhere.
Oh, the house tutor. Oh,
yes. I did not even ask the question how to write a poem. I just took the notebook and wrote a poem. And he read it, said, okay, that's good. So, and I read it to my mom later. And my mom said, you wrote it? So I was thrilled that, wow, I could arrange my words and I could surprise someone. So it started. The next day I wrote another one. And my mom was the first
Oh.
listener of my poem.
So, in a sense, you are a born poet, or you have the talent, since your childhood. It was a hidden talent. In a sense.
However, I did not know that when I write a poem, I have to collect it until I graduated from high school and I went to uh, mm, Faridpur to visit one of my uncles who was a doctor there. And I wrote some poems and left it there. Later on, the auntie who came back to the village and said, you write poetry? I was little ashamed. But that time you write poetry, it was not seen a good sign for a child because you are going to be spoiled, something like that. So I said, no, I don't write poetry. She said, writing poetry is not bad, but try to collect them. You may need it in future. So I started collecting them. That's
your own
the start.
poetry. I see. I understand.
And later on, the name you mentioned, later on I started reading. Then when I was in college, in the university, I understood that you have to read a lot of poems to write it. And
Okay, there's a picture I can see. Can you explain who are they?
This is last year from Poland. Is all the poets from that international poetry festival we went to.
How many countries were there? How many countries participated?
In this poetry festival, I think about 15 countries.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's that after the festival, they gave all of us a participatory certificate and we are all on the stage. So
it was in Poland.
Yeah, you see my picture somewhere in there.
Oh, was it in Warsaw or somewhere else?
It's about 60 miles north of Warsaw.
Okay.
Yeah, about 60 miles north of Warsaw.
You had been to Czech Republic also, you said.
Yes, last year I also was in Czech Republic. Yes.
And do you know that our moderator, Dastagir Jahangir, studied in Czech Republic?
Yes, he actually wrote to me when I was in Czech Republic. He said, you are in my country. I said,
right.
What a coincidence. So I was so thrilled to know that a Bangladeshi, famous journalist was in
right. Yeah, it's not very common. Anyway, I'm going back to high schooling, high school days, high school teaching days in America. We know that high school kids are very, basically unruly, and they don't act like students in Bangladesh. Obviously, corporal punishment is not common. Like you don't cane any kid. We used to get a lot of punishment from our teachers when we were in elementary school, even Bangladesh. But how you interacted? What was your experience? Was it a very cultural shock, or somehow you adjusted with the quote unquote unruly young adolescents in America? I'm talking about your students.
Well, I disagree with that unruly, quote unquote. I have been very much love with them. Yes, like my high school or everybody's high school, we are at the adolescence. Later on, I actually wrote about this. Adolescence era era is different than when you grow up. We forget that. So this is how I actually get connected with each of the students. I try to know their stories. I believe that everyone has a story. I try to know their story and then I get connected with them. You know how many students were there after school sitting in my office, in my room, because they used to love me. And even a student, other teachers say, oh, he's very, or she does not do anything. Usually they used to do work in my class. And before my retirement, the principal said, "Are you sure that you are retiring?" One of the English teachers said, "I don't know if anybody is going to, feel them the way you do." I say, "Well, come on, there are a lot of and teachers." And I was the chair for 5 years, last 5 years. I also trained some young teachers how to communicate with them. Let me give you an example. One of the English young teachers came to me and said, "This student doesn't listen to me. Do not listen to me." I said, "Do you know where they're from?" By the way, every class in New York City is an international class. Is the student from all over the world in there? So I said, "Who are the students? Where are they from?" She said, "They are from Yemen." It's like 3, 4 years ago I'm talking about. I said, "Wow." But they come to my classroom after school and they don't want to leave. By the way, do you know that there is a war going on in Yemen? And many of these students lost their parents, their properties. They had to flee here. Do you know this? Next time you talk to them, remember this. Just remember this. 2 months later, the same teacher came to me and said, "You changed my life." They are all listening to me and they are doing the work I asked them to do.
One question, demographic. I'm sorry, there's a picture. So who is the gentleman with you?
This is Labioda, Darius Thomas Labioda, who is who introduced me to the international world. And last year, he was giving me an award. This is
Is it Germany or Poland?
This is in Poland.
Oh,
I went to Poland 5 times, and I believe that Poland is my second home, and I have so many brothers and sisters there. I have a Polish mom.
and
That's
it's good
interesting.
that we are conversing in English, so at least your counterpart, your contacts in European countries would understand. I mean,
Well, obviously, they are going to
if
see
our
this.
interview was in Bengali, they would have a hard time understanding. Anyway, going back to the demographics, most of the kids, your students, were born Americans, or if not, and were ethnicity-wise, or most of them were whites or mixed, because you were teaching in a New York school, so it's a
Yeah, New York school is as I said, multicultural schools.
Yeah.
Usually, is students from all over the world. But let me tell you that in New York City, the website is in 8 languages. The school website, and Bengali is one of them. I think 4th largest group of students here are Bengali students.
So many of your students were being
Some when I was in
Bangladesh.
downtown, there were I had a Bengali club also. I started a club. Students used to come, and I used to give them Bengali books. They used to read them, and every week we had a club meeting. They used to come. And later on, when I went to Harlem, I was transferred to Harlem, one of the schools in Harlem.
Harlem in Bronx.
Not in Bronx, it's uptown New York, uptown Manhattan.
Okay.
It's 136 50th Street.
Okay.
So I had a after school now poetry club. So a student used to come there. So that's Bengali club. Since there are not a lot of Bengalis in that school, so it's poetry club. So I was teaching them poetry after school.
So it was beside the, it is a out of the classroom situation.
Yes,
But
it's after
inside the classroom, during your math, teaching, time, when you are basically explaining algebra or any arithmetic, did you sometimes quote sonnets or sometimes Shakespearean something, or suddenly it came out of your mouth like anyway?
Interesting question. Nobody asked me that question before. Thank you. I was teaching calculus for many, many years, at least 15 years. And I believe, and I used to tell them that calculus is a real math. And you have to think about 2 things: the area under the curve and rate of change. I used to tell them lots of stories. And then later on, they knew that I write poetry. And one of the students wrote an article on the school magazine. We used to have like 3,500 students at the school. School, he is a poet and we don't know it. So ever since, everybody used to come to me and we talked about poetry a lot. And the attachment with the student, sometimes when they graduate, I had to cry. I mean, the attachment is like a principal. One of the principals from that school told me that you are the father figure, and if you don't become a father figure, you don't care about them, then you can't teach. And at the same time, you have to understand that every student has a different way of learning. You have to be aware of that. And math, every part of the world, they teach math differently. In Bangladesh, in Saudi Arabia, in US. So you have to really communicate with that. One of the students, Bengali student, one day I was teaching, a teacher just came over and said, the principal called you to go to the health, or school there is a health section. So a student was sitting there, he doesn't know how to express himself, he just came from Bangladesh. And that's why they were calling me. I went there. The teacher was covering my class, and after finishing helping him. I said, "Who is your math teacher?" He said the teacher's name. I said, "How much are you getting in math?" He said, "I have a hard time understanding." I said, "I understand." So I took him to my class, and ever since he got 100. Every exam he was getting
another math teacher you are talking about.
Yes, so I brought him to my class. So you see the language differences and the differences of teaching, he was not grabbing it. Ever since he came to my class, he was
that particular student was foreign born or American?
He was a Bangladesh born student, came from
I'm sorry, Bengali, Bangladesh born.
Yes.
Okay, here you are. Oh my goodness, you look elegant. Why you are speaking?
This is Macedonia, the Stuga Poetry Festival. They do it for 64 years. They have been doing this festival, and it's done by the government. And
so you are basically reciting your poem?
Yes, this is the final program. It was on TV, Macedonian national TV. And you know what? Why we are standing here? We are standing one top of a bridge. There is a river. So two sides of the river are occupied, two banks of the river are occupied by the audience. The stage is set up on the
Fantastic.
bridge.
Now, poet, now I'm in a mood to listen to your poem.
Now I have to tell you that I was the first Bengali poet in 64 years invited here. So I was so lucky.
Fantastic. Now it's the time to listen to your poem.
Okay.
Obviously, it should be in English because we have the English audience mainly too.
Okay, I'm gonna read a poem from this book. It was my first bilingual book. Came out from US in 2000.
Okay.
It's called The Breath of Bengal.
Okay, fantastic.
With a little cash. This poem actually got translated into many languages, got very famous in US too. If I have a little cash, I will open an art shop. My modernist call will raise echo and journey to corners of places not reached before. Let a few days pass by. If I have a little cash, I will wash your soft feet with spring water. If I have some money, I'll buy the giant sky, wandering all day on its floor. Birds will wake me up, and they will again put me easily asleep. The world will find my hands in its own if the crooked line of restlessness is wiped away. With some money, I will spend my time listening to the bees. Faraway conversations, no longer talking from wire to wire, no more wasting of sinew. Bangladesh, take note of it. I will rest my head upon your breast and sleep all night in tranquility when I have just a little cash. Thank you.
Extraordinary. Who translated that in English?
This one was translated by Nazrul Islam Naz, is a poet, died in an accident 2015. He used to live in London. He came to London when he was only 13 years old. And I found this translator. He was great. And we lost a translator in a very young age in an accident in Dhaka, which is he went to actually bring his sister from Dhaka. And
Oh, I got a request from Dastagir. Can you recite the Bangla version, please?
Bangla version.
It's
Okay.
a Dastagir's request.
Right.
Okay.
কিছু পয়সা হলে আমি দেব শিল্পের দোকান, আধুনিক আজান আমার প্রতিধ্বনি তুলে ছুটে যাবে অসমাপ্ত গন্তব্যের কোনায় কোনায়। কটা দিন যাক, কিছু পয়সা হলে তোমার নরম পাদুখানা ভিজাবো সতেজ জলে। কিছু পয়সা হলে কিনবো আমি বিরাট আকাশ, সারাদিন ঘোরাফেরা তার পাটাতনে, পাখিরা জাগিয়ে দেবে, পাখিরা পাড়াবে ঘুম সহজ স্বভাবে। পৃথিবী দু হাতে পাবে কোমল দুহাত, ক্লান্তির বঙ্কিম রেখা শুধু মুছে গেলে। কিছু পয়সা হলে মৌমাছির গান শুনে আমি সময় কাটাবো। দূরের আলাপ, তারে তারে কথা বলা আর নয় অযথা স্নায়ুর অপচয়। কিছু পয়সা হলে বাংলাদেশ জেনে রেখো, আমি তোমার বুকেই মাথা রেখে সারা রাত নীরবে ঘুমাবো। রফিক আজাদ বলেছিলেন এই শেষের 4 লাইন
Very tough.
বহির্বিশ্বে বাংলা। রফিক আজাদ was saying that the last 4 lines are supposed to be the national anthem of Bengalis living abroad.
Oh, he read it. I mean, you mean?
Yes, he was at my house in my house for a month and a half. He was invited to the 10th anniversary of the magazine that I publish, which is
Shabda
18 years ago. Shabda-
Okay.
It's 18 years ago.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you were saying, I think, off the record, like you basically, you and I have been talking for some time, and you said that you had a mission also, like when you were going, basically traveling country to country, you are basically working as an ambassador of goodwill. So, what was your mission?
Thank you. I believe that everyone who is living abroad is an ambassador to the country he or she belongs to. And I am one. My first mission is as a poet, obviously, writing a good poem and translating my poetry from my country to, send it to the world. So, the globalization of Bengali poetry, which Tagore once did, and you know that after Tagore, we have been not doing this for many, many years. So, and the second mission is we have a secular, we are a secular nation, and we have a history of secularism, but that country has been taken over by the fundamentalists. So we have to get back to the track. So that campaign is also my second mission. So as a poet, I'm not excluded to do that. It's not only politicians' job, it's everybody's job. My country is attacked and I'm not going to talk about this. It does not happen. It should not happen. And the connection with my root, if my root is rotten, then I am in trouble. So I try to campaign that too. And many people, I know many poets are aware of what's going on in Bangladesh. Very recently there is an election, but this was a faulty election, I would say. There's almost 80% people are out of the election. The major party was banned, which is wrong. This is not democracy. It's democracy.
So, what is your feeling now? I saw part of this from Jamuna TV recorded, segments. Basically, the Sangsad, that the 13th Sangsad thing, basically that how it's proceeding, and I saw that turban-clad mullahs and with the white robes. Suddenly, it reminded me of the Majlis-e-Shura of Iran, the theocracy, or even Afghanistan. and obviously they were basically they had some resolutions. They were basically enhancing, glamorizing the killers of 1971, and some of the killers who were basically hanged by the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So anyway, what is your feeling now? Bangladesh is in the hand of the fundamentalists, jihadis. What's your current, I know it's painful, but I want to know your take on it.
Let me tell you the positive part, which is the Prime Minister Tariq Jia mentioned before he was asking to recite that session over by a senior political party from his party, a political leader from his party. He said that the then Prime Minister Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in 1973 did the same thing because there was no speaker at that time. At least he mentioned the father of the nation. He didn't say father of the nation, but he mentioned. But the then appointed president by the government, Sheikh Hasina's government, even did not mention the father of the nation. Even did not mention 1971, which is so sad and bad. And when I see that those fundamentalists did not even stood up for the national anthem, this is a disgrace.
I noticed it. I noticed it. Yeah, right.
This is a disgrace for the nation, and those criminals, those killers, they were, due justice. They were hanged. This is unbelievable that they were honored in that. They were remembered in that session. Is it Bangladesh? Unbelievable that the fundamentalist Jamaat-e-Islam is occupying the whole BNP now, which I mentioned in one of the talk show, and they said, no. Jamaat-e-Islam is not occupying BNP. Now see what's happening. It can happen that Jamaat-e-Islam keeping their, gun on BNP's shoulder and they're shooting from there. This is what they're doing. They're turning the country into a fundamentalist zone, which should not happen.
Do you agree that the main culprit is the former caretaker chief, interim government chief, Yunus?
Well, did you hear
the main culprit?
Did you hear my talk shows? I call him a demon, Pishach. That's
I've been following.
So yes, he's still the culprit. He's still sitting in there. He's still doing a lot of things. He sold the country to the foreign nation, and he, why I called him the demon? Because he was sitting there not saying anything. Do not kill those people. Do not kill them on the street. Do not rape. He never mentioned that. He never mentioned that people are being killed in his 18 months of ruling
during his time, right?
During his time, I guess about 40 to 60,000 people were killed. I mean, they don't say it, but every month there are 45 dead bodies found in the river. You see, they were butchered on the street. Women were raped on the street, gang raped and killed. He did not mention this at all. And when
actually, like the ISIS.
One second. Yeah. When the foreign journalist asked, he said, "Well, they were so angry, they had to act like this." What is this? Is it a jungle?
Not only that, poet Abdullah, you saw this is the first time ever we witnessed dead bodies of the police or even some Awami Leaguers were hanging under the bridge. I mean, from the tree branches. It never happened. It was the telltale sign of jihadi, ISIS or Al Qaeda. Now I know it's a first-hand account in Jatrabari on the 5th of August. One of my close associates in Dhaka, he said in Jatrabari, 5th of August, a young man was beheaded. So beheading was very common thing. But Mr. Yunus, well-trained Western educated and darling of Clinton family or even Biden, Kamala Harris, he didn't spell a single word, basically. It's a very strange thing. He didn't utter a single word about beheading, about lynching, about hanging dead bodies and burning police in the police stations. So, this is a disgrace to the humanity, and he got the Nobel Peace Prize.
No, not only that, he encouraged them. In Bengali, he said, I'll translate that. He said, তারা তো তোমার গ্রামে আছে, তুমি তার কি করতে পারতিছো? In that language, he said, they were in your village.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Instigating mobs.
So he was instigating mob. He was encouraging them to kill those people. They are supporter of Army League. And you know how many journalists are in jail right now? Still, 300 plus journalists are in jail. Why those journalists are? Shahriar Kabir. Why Shahriar Kabir in jail? For what? What did he do? He's the ambassador of Bengali secularism all over the world. That's why he is in jail. Why they are trying them in the ICT court that was actually established for trial of the war criminals? These are all set up by the fundamentalists. These are all they want to take revenge of those 6 criminals, Rajakars, are hanged. That should not go on. That's my mission. I want to tell the world, look, if the Nuremberg trial was overturned, the judges, the prosecutors, the witness, those who are there, they are now being hanged. This is what's happening in Bangladesh. The international community should step up and see what's going on in there. And the one who got Nobel Prize, my goodness.
Now, one question. Basically, Awami League government ruled the country for more than 15 years. And you mentioned the word secularism, the buzzword. And you have been a teacher. And do you think that during the administration of Sheikh Hasina, secular education was not well protected or well promoted? Like, for example, we saw mushroom growth of Madrasa, etc., etc., but not mushroom growth of technical or scientific colleges. Like, for example, India had IITs all across India, and IIT is a very well respected institution in America, in the Indian Institute of Technology. We don't have any such institution. And any comment on that? Like during last 15 years, what happened?
I have a lot of comments on that. First of all, there are 11 million students are in Madrasa at this moment. About 20 years ago, Shahriar Kabir was sitting in my room here where I'm talking from. I said, what's going to happen in 20 years? These students, they are going to occupy everything. They are coming out of Madrasa and learning nothing but the Sharia version of Quran and Sunnah and whatever they want to teach. They have no syllabus either. And you know what happened? Sheikh Hasina at some point pulled them to the universities. Probably she had a good, thought about it. For example, that they should get higher education, science education from university, but the base is rotten. Bangladesh, this is my take. There should not be any madrasa. This is the oldest educational system. Get them out. Make all the madrasa into school. And one syllabus from like US, like Western country, from class 1, grade 1 to grade 10, there's one syllabus. And then after grade 10 or 12, you go to college and then you change your subject area, whatever it is. Bangladesh does not have that. We have to have that type of education. Educational reform is a main thing which obviously overlooked by the previous government. There are a lot of other things were overlooked by previous government. These fundamentalists are killing. Humayun Azad was butchered. Abhijit was butchered. There are no justice for that. They're encouraging them in many different ways. There is no justice in encouraging. There are some cancer sitting in different part of the world, and they have the shows, and they are motivating these people, these young people from Bangladesh, in the wrong way, and they were the criminals. They were not facing justice in Bangladesh. They flew from Bangladesh, and they are doing all this. So if there is no justice, this is going to happen. There should be, first of all, there should be a proper education, and there should be justice system that is working. These two are not in function in Bangladesh properly. That's the main problem.
In Bangladesh, when I grew up, I mean, even in 1970 to 73, when I was a university student, I remember that my close friends or associates were very secular. Can you say the same thing about today, like about most of the Dhaka University students? Are they more of a Islamic fundamentalists or secular minded?
I have a lot of professors friend in the University of Dhaka. They say this Dhaka University became a madrasa. So you understand.
It's very
disappointing. But I see some of the young kids, how they are talking. This is what I say all the time. In the poetic field, I say, look, there are thousands of poets. There are thousands of poets going with the wind, and they are writing gibberish. But you will see one, because we had 1,000 years of 10,000 years of history. So there is going to be one standing just opposite and doing the right thing. Like, look at Rabindranath Tagore, look at Kazi Nazrul Islam, Jivanananda, Shamsur Rahman, Humayun Azad. So there are students, there are very good students. I am amazed to listen to them. Some of them also come to the TV. But many of them are going with the wind. That has to be changed. There should be educational reform. There is no other way, to kill a country. Just kill their education first. And which Pakistan started to doing that. And that's why the 1972 language movement started, and it was successful. But at this moment, 10 years back, when I went to Bangladesh, I see the burqa coming. Allah Hafiz. They actually introduced Allah Hafiz first from Khuda Hafiz. That was the turning point.
And also, when I was growing up, every sentence didn't start and end with Alhamdulillah.
They're saying it a lot.
You see, Alhamdulillah, you can see YouTubers in Bangladesh, many YouTubers, food bloggers, Alhamdulillah.
On my Facebook post, nice post, many of my so-called secular friends are saying, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. What the heck are you talking about?
Why you bring God in everything? Like,
everything. It's I don't know. This is the result of not being a proper education introduced in there, and giving a free pass to the fundamentalists, because they are in every corner. They are manipulating everyone. They are giving you, if you don't do this, you are going to go to hell. I mean, these are the teaching. Their teaching is going on even the villages, even the neighborhood to neighborhood, which has to stop. And look, Sheikh Hasina built 560 model masjid. Did she build any cultural center? Let me tell you something. In Poland, in Czech Republic, and I was so surprised going to Czech Republic, most of the churches turn into schools now, cultural center, because people don't go to church. And in Poland, every city, there must be a cultural center. And with the cultural center, there is a library. and people go there. If there is a library, if there is a cultural center, then there people are educated from there. We learn from each other. If there are papers, we read from. Nowadays, I don't know how many students of Dhaka University or of the other university they read papers. So they are. I know nowadays they are connected to the world, but connected which way? To the wrong way or to the right way? Scientific without scientific association. Look, they use science. I have a lot of poems on that. They use science in every part of their life, and they say that's a demon. You should not use science. Their teaching is completely like opposite to what they do.
Right. Yeah, and also one thing I noticed too.
And I want to mention, look at the war in Iran. Iran using all the scientific understanding, and they want to kill the West. That's unbelievable. You get everything from the West. You're using the technology of West and kill the West.
Now, did you, happen to have some Iranian American students?
I have some friends. I don't remember any Iranian Americans. I have Iranian friends.
Are they fundamentalist or secular?
No, my Iranian friends, they are poets. They live in different part of the world. They are very secular, and they're driven out from Iran sometimes in this Khomeini era.
So I have an experience with mixing with intermingling with the Iranian Americans for more than 40 years, in America. Okay, and incidentally, all of them are very secular, and I have some informal data. Maybe out of 700 to 800,000 Iranian Americans, 70% are not very religious or not very Allah Billah and all this, bringing God in every respect. But among the Bangladeshi Americans, I would say most Bangladeshi Americans tend to become more religious during the last 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to find any
secular Bangladeshi American,
if you want to find any secular Bangladeshi American, you may have to use high-powered microscope. Why are the secular Bangladeshis? Please tell me.
Humayun once said, he came here 2000 before they killed him in Bangladesh, couple of years before he was killed. He said, if you have to find a pious Muslim in the future, Bengali Muslim, you have to come to US. So, hey, I was so, I would say that worried about my son growing up in here. I know the schooling system. I know his peer group are going to be these Bengali students, Bengalis. So ever since, my house is a secular house. So he grew up as a secular, young man. But he started going to mosque at some point with his friends. And I was so worried that these mullahs are going to manipulate, because their teaching is this: Allah sent you here to fight for him, to fight for establishing Islam in here. That's a huge identity crisis they get in there. And there are so many mosques in US. I don't know if they are still teaching that. I don't go to mosque like 30 years. I hope they are not. This is the wrong teaching. So eventually my son did not go with them. I said, look, my dad, there are all the religious book. You read all the religion. If you want to follow religion, that's fine. I have no problem with that. So I'm so happy that he is secular.
So question is, recently you saw the, suspected terrorists, two young men. They were high school kids, probably from Pennsylvania. One is from Afghan origin, and another is from Turkish origin. So these two kids were radicalized by online, they say, and they grew up in America, and they wanted to create something like the Boston Marathon bombing type of thing in front of the Mamdani's residence in New York. Now, the question of radicalization. You are a teacher, and young brain is very fertile, like a high schooling. Many kids, they become jihadis during the high school days. Do you have any prescription to de-radicalize the young mind? It could be in America or in Bangladesh.
You know,
Obviously, Bangladesh is a bad case now. I'm talking about America.
as I said, I had a Bengali club after school.
Yeah.
You know, the student, those who started coming with burqa in that club, they
Yeah.
stopped wearing burqa at the end. So I am not telling them do not wear burqa. I was just giving them what is our culture, what is the world, how the culture work, how do you actually stand for your right? Like this is the voice channel, how to raise your voice. So I know there are young kids here, girls. You already mentioned that there are so many fundamentalist Bengalis living here. They don't want their kids, the girls, to graduate from high school. I faced that, and I manipulated them many different ways to stay in high school, graduate. This is your right. Try to do whatever you could to manage your home. So hey, that should be, in US, in New York, at some point like 30 years ago, there were hard houses were sold to teachers and police officers for half price, because there was a understanding that if a teacher or police officer living in a neighborhood, that neighborhood is going to be getting better. And that is how many of this neighborhood got better. So we are secular people, those who are living in the US. We have to have the cultural center like I'm talking about in Poland and Czech Republic, in European countries. Cultural center there, we should encourage that young people to come, and then we talk with them. They do whatever they want in there, but come to the cultural center. There should be book. There should be, music. There should be, some play. Probably we could do it. So if that happens in every neighborhood, they will be motivated not to the fundamentalist way. That's the Islamic teaching is going on. That's some of the fundamentalist people sitting in the mosque, so-called, and doing this. And another problem with US is a religious freedom. Many people are using that, and that is a trap.
That is the point. That is the point I want to go.
This is a trap, and they have to think about it.
That is the point I want to, basically I want to come into. And, in America, that's unfortunately, we are tolerant to the intolerance. And, in Congress now, they're talking about banning Muslim Brotherhood. It's not yet totally banned, but Muslim Brotherhood is a very, very diabolical entity. It's spread all over the world, although it's banned in many Middle Eastern countries, including Saudi Arabia, UAE. You probably know that Muslim Brotherhood is banned, and probably in Bahrain too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Muslim Brotherhood was not banned in America. Muslim Brotherhood promoted a group called Muslim Student Association.
Mm-hmm.
And that has branches in MIT, Yale, Harvard, George Washington, Georgetown. I know for a fact, many young people, I know that young people in the high school, they were secular, as you said about your son is secular. Yeah, they were secular. They were in the music, in the movie business, and they're making movies. When they joined the Muslim Student Association, supposing in Yale or Harvard, they become kind of very much kind of amalgamated into a group which is anti-West, anti-infidels. Infidel means who is not Muslim. It could be you, me, or anybody who is not fundamentalist. We are all infidels. So what happened? You would be surprised, Mr. Abdullah. They teach the young American Muslims to only interact among themselves. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They have video games, all over the world they play, and they only talk to, and gradually they become bigger and bigger, but they are not assimilating. So that is the problem. The problem is that why? They are creating an alternate reality inside the infidel lands. This land was built by infidels, not Muslims. Science, technology. But they think that you already pointed out.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Allah,
Look, I've been here for 35 plus years. I know what's going
Allah's
on
land,
in the society.
but you don't know. Right now, that new trend with the Muslim Student Association, 8 chapters in many universities, but they are basically brainwashing the young American Muslims.
100%.
I think authorities should
100%.
have a notice on that. Oh, here you are
100%.
again standing.
It is. Also, there is an organization called Muna. What are they doing?
Oh, Muna is a
The-
Bangladeshi oriented.
The government should look into it. The
Muna is a
government
Muslim Ummah of North America.
The
It is a
government
basic-
should look into it.
It
Oh,
is
this
a
is, by the
Jamaat-
way, this is the poet from his
is the
from one of the
picture.
European countries. He got the award, Golden Wreath Award last year. Every year there is a Golden Wreath Award given from Macedonia, the Istruga Poetry Festival, and some of them went to get Nobel Prize, like Pablo Neruda and later Simasini. Later, there are so many Nobel laureates from there. So
Pablo Neruda, I remember from Chile.
yes, Pablo Neruda actually got this award in 1972, and he also got the Nobel Prize in 1972. So when he got the Istruga Poetry Award, the Golden Wreath Award, he actually planted a tree. I went there to see the tree that so big. So everyone get this award, plants a tree. There is a poetry garden. So this is very interesting. They're keeping
Poet Abdullah, we are almost heading.
this is another poet, Amir War from Israel. He got the award in 2021.
Oh, great. Which country?
Israel.
Israel. Now,
He's a great
Mr.
poet.
Poet Abdullah, the question is now, poetry.
This is Adonis, Syrian poet. He also got that award.
Which country?
Macedonia, bro.
Macedonia.
Adonis from Syria, but he lives in Paris. He's
Oh,
very-
Macedonian, but he lives in Paris. I see. Okay, now, again,
And this is Kazimierz Burnat, who is a very famous poet from Poland. He is he's the president of Celestial Branch of Polish Writers Union.
great. Okay.
This is another poet, is Pavel. Pavel is also, he is newly elected the president of Poznan Poetry Union right now.
From
And he's a
Poland.
photographer. He's a very nice photographer.
Is he from Poland?
Yeah. And he's from Sweden. He's a Swedish poet laureate, beat poet laureate. He's a great poet, benched, Buzarkuld.
Okay, very good. As we are summing up, my final question would be poetry. Poet Abdullah, do you think poetry is good for the mullahs, or you can defeat the mullah dom by poetry, by poems?
Look, poetry has a huge power. I would say art has a huge power. Remember the poem Rebel, Bidrohi, বলবীর চির উন্নত মম শির শির শিহারি নত শির ওই শিখর হিমাদ্রির. Say that your crest is ever higher. O hero, say your crest is ever higher. British thought that why a native's crest is going to be ever higher? My crest is ever higher. That's why the poet was arrested, but we are liberated from British. Remember how much power that poem has. So poetry has a huge power. It could work for anybody who is involved in poetry. I do not think he could kill people. He could be a racist. He could, recently I wrote in a poem that every country is my country, every people is my people. Poetry actually makes that brotherhood alive. So with poetry, it is possible to bring peace to the world again. Thank you.
So we can conquer the world with poetry.
This is Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, father of the nation. And I one of my poems, I said that Bangladesher dak naam Sheikh Mujib. The nickname of Bangladesh is Sheikh Mujib. Without him born, we would not be liberated. Bengalis are not going to
I
be all
agree.
over the world.
I
So
agree
it's
with you. That's why we say Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.
Joy Bangla. Yes, Joy Bangla.
Thank you very much, Poet Abdullah.
Thank you for having me.
Poet Abdullah, we'll meet again. Hassanal Abdullah, it was nice talking to you.
And
We'll again talk. And
thank you, Dostidar Bhai behind the scene. He was helping
Yeah.
us to be
thanks to Dastagir Jahangir for
Dostidar
arranging
Yes.
this meeting in a short notice. Okay.
Thank
you
you
very
Thank
much.
you. Bye
Have a
bye.
nice day.
You too. Thank you.